night matchup between Louisville and Miami. Now, I personally believe that, again, like I said, in this new age of college football, pretty much anybody could get upset. We saw Miami come into this game as a number 2 seed, and Louisville upsets them at home. Like I said, anybody could be upset. We're looking at an Alabama team in week one that we look at now as a top national championship contender, got upset by a Florida State team that, again, looks even worse than it did at the time. So, and then you look at now against Miami, against Louisville, another upset to the number 2 team in the country at the time. So anybody can be on upset alert. Like I said, in this new age college football NIL era, the playing field is more even than ever, and you're going to see more and more upsets. Now, do I think Miami should have lost this game? No, they should have never lost this game. They have the talent to win this game. But I feel like they kind of overlooked Louisville in a sense. And Louisville is a team that, again, came into this game 4-1. They played a Virginia team that they took to overtime. That's a pretty good football team. So, again, Louisville is not a bad team by any mentions, and their defense absolutely balled out. When we look at a defense getting 4 interceptions in a game, you're going to win that game most likely. Now, I do love how Louisville came out in this game. You come out, you score a touchdown, you get a stop, you score another touchdown. That's my favorite thing when you're looking at in-conference matchup, road dog. When you come out and set the tone of the game, that really proves a lot to me. Now, Miami, for the first time, I believe, all season, really had to come back from behind in this game. And we saw Carson Beck. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I love Carson Beck. He absolutely folded in this game. He threw 4 interceptions. Again, I thought 2 of them were some pretty spectacular plays. When we look at Miami at the end of this game, having a drive to pretty much tie it or win it when you're down 24-21 and you throw a ball that's just a flat-out bad ball. The cornerback just completely jumped around, and it was just like a lazy ball to me. And again, there were other deceptions in this game as well. I thought the deep ball to Malachi Toney as well, that was severely underthrown. I thought that was a bad ball. Again, I feel like Carson Beck looked like a little too lax in the situation, and I feel like it came back to bite Miami. And this is the Carson Beck that we saw last year that, while I was sticking up for, a lot of people hated on when he had a multi-turnover game. We saw games last year where he had 2+ interceptions. So this is a game where Miami, in my opinion, really had to have this game, and they didn't. Because now when you look at the ACC, there are multiple undefeated teams in the ACC, and this could cost Miami not making an ACC championship. And in my opinion, Miami could really only lose one more game, which puts a lot of pressure on them. And they really can't lose another in-conference matchup because, again, they want to make the ACC championship. Can they get into the college football playoffs with 2 losses? Possibly, but with the ACC schedule, you're not going to be favored, like I've been mentioning, over SEC teams, over Big Ten teams. So I feel like this loss was so monumental because it was an in-conference loss. And credit to Louisville. Louisville has a really good team. We talked about Isaac Brown in the offseason, how good of a running back he is. He rushes for 113 yards in this game. Miller Moss played a good game. He didn't turn the ball over. He was 23 for 37, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns. We know the talent Miller Moss has. Chris Bell had a great touchdown in this game where he completely turned out burners. He had a really nice game, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's having a great year as well. This Louisville team is definitely something to watch out for. Again, they put Miami on upset alert. They were unranked coming into this game, but they're now 5-1 in the ACC. They have enough talent on offense, in my opinion. Miller Moss hasn't been playing as a lot of people thought he would throughout the season, but he plays big in this big matchup, and their defense was absolutely flying. Carson Beck, he cannot have this game. He cannot have a game like this where he completely takes Miami out of the game. This was a guy that we were looking at as one of the best quarterbacks in college football before this game, and you completely take yourself out of the Heisman race again. If he's a team player, you shouldn't care about that. You should care about putting Miami in the playoffs, but you would have lost this game, and you would have threw an interception or 2, and again, wasn't your best game. You could have stood in this Heisman race. You throw 4 interceptions with how a lot of these quarterbacks are playing right now. You're completely out of the Heisman race, and you could really point at Carson Beck for Miami and losing this game. Like I said, in a 3-point game where you got to come back from behind and you throw multiple bad balls, you're never going to win a game where your quarterback throws 4 interceptions. And I get it. This Miami rushing attack really could not get anything going on the ground. I get it. They were coming from behind, but they had points in this game where they really could have, rushed the football, and they didn't. Only rushing for 63 total yards. Malachi Tony looks absolutely phenomenal still. Like, again, we talked about Carson Beck left a couple balls on the table, but still a guy with 9 receptions, 135 yards. CJ Daniels looked good with 7 receptions for 74 yards. Like, this Miami team has a ton of talent, and I don't want this Miami team to go down the same way they did last year. We saw this Miami team last year have a ton of talent. You could argue even more talent than this year, and they lost games where they should have lost, and that cost them a college football playoff spot. I don't want to see that again, but I'm nervous with this Miami Louisville game that's what we could possibly be seeing. All right, now which game are we going to go into? I kind of want to go in order, so I'm going to go with LSU Vanderbilt. This LSU Vanderbilt game